Coming up today on This Is True Really News, a Reddit question. Cops, what was the best thing anyone said in response to being pulled over? You have to stick around to find out. Please like, subscribe, and follow This Is True Really News. Comment wherever you find us, or if you have a, you can. If you have something longer, comment, question, conundrum, or snark.
Close.
Okay. Please send, or a story you may want us to cover, send it to TITR@netradio.network.
Smooth.
Thank you.
This is True Really News with Scott Combs and Tony Vercanis. All the news you're about to hear is true.
Really?
As far as you know.
A climber who was airlifted.
That's
altitude.
cheating.
Well, he had altitude sickness.
Oh, I thought they were lifting him up the side of the mountain.
No, he was near the peak of Mount Fuji.
Okay.
Returned to the slope and was rescued for a second time 4 days later.
This guy didn't understand what was happening to him?
Officials urge people to be aware of the harsh conditions at the country's tallest peak, even during the off-season. Thank you. There's a reason it's the off-season.
Right. But they don't ever, it's not ever really closed, though, is my understanding. Is it?
I don't know. I'm guessing not.
Yeah. So he got
The climber was identified only as a 27-year-old Chinese student living in Japan. He had an emergency call on April 22nd, was airlifted after developing symptoms of altitude sickness, police said.
Okay.
Adding that his climbing irons also were damaged. 4 days later, he returned to the mountain's Fujinomiya Trail, about 3,000 meters above sea level, to look for his cell phone and other things left behind. According to the prefecture police, another climber found him there, unable to move, after he apparently developed altitude sickness again. Here you go. Mountains hiking trails officially open only from July to early September.
Okay.
But there is no penalty for hiking off season. There's a difference, though, between hiking and chugging your little ass right up the side of the mountain.
Yep.
No charge or penalty when a climber needs to be rescued.
They are rescued.
Yeah.
And then they go scuttling back.
Not most of them, I'm guessing.
Did he take his crap this time?
I hope so. I hope the other people grabbed it, because I get the idea he was in no shape.
Right.
The Chinese student's case prompted an uproar on social media, generated calls for him to be charged, at least for that second rescue, please.
Yeah.
I hope they don't, because they just blame it on Donald Trump anyways.
It's a little bit like that restaurant. What is it called? The Gnome restaurant here in Minneapolis. He could be closing down.
Okay.
And in part, it was because he was robbed.
Has he ticked off the Minneapolis gnome community?
He got robbed by a guy who had 50 other arrests for robbery. 2 weeks later, the guy was out. Robbed him again. A few weeks later, he was out and burgled him one more time. There's something really wrong going on down in Minneapolis.
Is Minneapolis part of Hennepin County?
It are, but I'm part of the Anoka-Hennepin conglomerate.
Yeah, but the
For school
county
districts,
attorney,
at least.
the county attorney in Hennepin's
Weirdo.
Thank you. I was going to say whack job, but that would sound so rude.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, cops. What was the best thing anyone said in response to being pulled over?
Hello, officer.
This is a cop named Doug. I once caught a very young girl, probably 16 years old, driving 45 in a 30 mph zone. I turned around on her and approached the car. She was so nervous, she was shaking. I requested the usual, driver's license, registration, and insurance. And as she was retrieving the documents, I realized I recognized her. She was the young waitress who usually served me coffee and breakfast at a local restaurant. So anyway, as she hands me the license, I noticed there was a paper clip attached to it. Now, many of us have had this before. Uh-oh. Most often a $50 or $100 bill used as a bribe to get out of the ticket. So I asked her, "Are you sure you want to hand this driver's license to me as is?" She looked confused. I repeated the question and warned her that if there was money clipped to the DL, she would be arrested for attempted bribery. Through very teary eyes, she looked confused but assured me, yes, this is my driver's license. My heart sank to my stomach because I liked this kid and I did not want to arrest her.
Yep.
Walked back to my patrol car, reviewed the proof of insurance and registration. With a grimace on my face and some hesitation, I turned the driver's license over to its backside and found a get out of jail free card from Community Chest of the game of Monopoly. I cracked up and laughed out loud. Took me a while to compose myself. So I took the get out of jail free card and placed it in my shirt pocket, returned to her car window. I kept the card, smiled broadly and said, okay, young lady, this is your one chance. Please slow down and drive safely. I don't want to see anything happen to you. Have a great day. I didn't even write her a warning ticket.
Why would you? That was
genius.
Very good.
That was absolute genius. And luckily, the cop was a nice guy. And
that she went through with it is the amazing part.
Yeah.
I mean, when the nerves hit, it's like, yep.
Oh, that's funny. I love that crap. More crap from Tony.
Kathy Magruder.
Ah, Kath.
She operates Page Turner's bookstore in Indianola, Iowa. It seems that Miss Kathy was rummaging through the never checked out books at the Calvin Community Retirement Home. Mm-hmm. According to KCCI TV, she stumbled upon quite the find. There, among all the other titles, was a leather-bound Bible printed in 1705 in Selkirkshire, Scotland. Doing your math?
Yes.
It was printed, obviously, illegally, without the oversight of the church. This one, she said...
So it was a Catholic Bible.
It was a Bible.
Right. But it was in Scotland.
Yep.
I think 1700s.
Didn't have the church oversight, so it's an illegal printing.
Correct. No, I get that totally, but
Yep.
I'm guessing it was a Catholic Bible. I'm guessing this was the Catholic part of Scotland. Whatever.
Don't know.
Okay, keep going.
They probably still had all the same books at that point.
Yeah, you might be right. With the apocryphal texts in there and everything else.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, they were apocryphal to, the Protestant types, and
Yeah.
they became scripture because the Catholic Church Roman Catholic Church had a fit. Sorry.
No, they did.
Magruder said this one, just something about it. When I opened it up, the pages make a noise when you turn them. That's a little different than any new book I've ever held. They feel a little different. The book smells a little different than any other book. Well, yeah, it's going to. It's 320 years old.
That's more than 58.
That's way more than 58. That's like past 59.
Holy Pete, who can count that high?
Not I, without help. I ran out of fingers and toes at 25.
Is there any gotcha on this book
Nope.
other than that?
Nope.
Man.
Well,
that's
1705 was kind of it for me because
Yeah.
I actually, some of us were talking. And it's like we all had the same thought. There's just something about reading a book. That's a book, as opposed to reading it on a screen.
I hear that.
The texture, the smell, it just something about it. And Bibles are a different breed still.
Yeah, absolutely. From the Flathead Beacon Police Blotter.
From 1705?
Yes. 12:55 a.m., 1705. A man who was convinced a gang was stalking him had a tiny, this is a quote, tiny kitchen knife. And he wasn't afraid to use it.
Like a paring knife?
Probably. You guys get back or I'll peel you.
I will stab you right in the first layer of skin.
12:24 p.m. 1705. What? 17 what? What year?
1705.
1705. An adult obeyed a child's demand to call 911. Turned out there was no emergency. 1 p.m. 1705. A man was
Bad
communicating.
parenting right there.
Man was communicating with patrons of the fish and chips food truck with a blowhorn. What, you want a number 1 on the menu?
Like Harpo Marx. Ha!
And a duck egg. 4:41 p.m. 1705. A garage sale clerk had been drinking on the job all day. Wouldn't you?
And
6:46 p.m. 1705.
that would be as dumb as trying to file suit against your neighbors for letting their kids play basketball in their yard.
Right? Just
They tried
people
that in
do it all the time.
St. Louis Park. Didn't work out well.
6:46 p.m. 1705. An old guy had enough of the kids bouncing basketballs on his apartment and retaliated by throwing bicycles at them.
That's a little bit.
Well, that's an escalation. That's not retaliation.
That's extreme.
Yeah. Maybe it was the kids' bikes. 7:30.
Freud would say.
Hand me another cigar and that pound of cocaine. Thank you.
Yeah, forget the cigar for now.
Yeah, just hand me the cocaine.
Just roll the cigar in the cocaine.
And an M16. I want you to meet my little friend. 7:39 p.m.
Wow, that escalated
1705.
badly.
A teenager who parked, quote, stupid, was getting yelled at by other teenagers.
Who apparently didn't park stupid?
8:06 p.m. 1705.
Very confusing to me.
A man who committed a cheese robbery.
Huh?
A man who committed a cheese robbery
Okay.
fled in a RAV4 getaway vehicle.
Okay. I
I think he had to make a sandwich or something.
and when you gotta, you gotta. You
8:20.
cannot make a good grilled cheese without the cheese.
That's the whole point of the sandwich.
Pretty much.
8:27 p.
At least
Except for the bacon, you know.
Well, then it's an adult cheese, grilled cheese.
See, but I also like it with mayonnaise.
Does that mean you have to have your parents make it if you're like under 18?
Maybe, but I like my grilled cheese sandwiches with mayonnaise. That is amazing. And sometimes you grill it with mayonnaise on the outside. You put the mayonnaise on the outside instead of butter. It's fantastic. Let me tell you, anybody who tries it likes it. And Miracle Whip makes it a little more tangy, and that's kind of sweet. I like that. Problem?
So many.
Finally, 8:27 p.m., 1705. Some privileged teens driving a
geez.
Tesla. They're pretty privileged if they've got a Tesla.
No, because with all the Teslas that have been going back, I'm thinking they're probably a glut of them.
No, that's probably true. Anyway, they accosted an innocent man with silly string.
They're driving a Tesla, and that's the best.
Yeah, you would think at the minimum, Miracle Whip.
I believe my mother's line would work real well here. Wait till your father gets home.
You're just going to say, do you have any more silly string? Let's go.
I'll drive.
This is true, really news. Send email to TITR@netradio.network.